Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. I hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Welcome back for another news I missed video where I go over news that I missed, because there's always tons of things that are happening during the week that I have to skip over sometimes in order to not bog down the normal weekly videos as much as they sometimes already are, because we have so much news that is constantly floating out there in the cryptocurrency space. Without further ado, let's begin. Several Ethereum miners and developers have come forward with the goal of stopping specialized mining hardware from effectively operating on the network. Underway since April, the controversy surrounding application-specific integrated circuits, or ASICs, on Ethereum's rose after news broke last Thursday of a new line of specialized mining hardware that claims to generate more than 6 times as much profit as that of the product of its main competitor, mining giant Bitmain. Following the news inciting concerns regarding the lack of action taken by developers to stop the growing use of ASICs on the network, which many believe would effectively price out smaller miners, some proponents called out for an all-out strike by GPU miners. One GitHub user said, the only plausible way forward for GPU miners is to go on strike and commit to continuing to mine the existing chain and undermine the unity of Ethereum and force compromise. In support of this sentiment, another user by the name of Monero Crusher added that requests from the Ethereum mining community to implement ASIC-resistant mining measures have been blatantly ignored, and promised to join the revolt with their hash power. Without continuing or reading any further, what's happening right now is Ethereum is going through a lot of growing pains. There are people who have found ways to make mining more profitable for themselves and other people who should have similar mining equipment. The entire point of having a network that is decentralized is or rather, the original idea was that everyone should have an equal chance in mining the cryptocurrency of their choice, or what they deem to be great, or the network that they want to follow. We already know this is slightly broken when it comes down to people being able to buy warehouses and buy 50,000 miners and stuff like that, and therefore have more hash power and more energy and all these other things to be able to mine the cryptocurrencies than other people who are already at home. And this is part of the argument as well as to why Ethereum has been talking about implementing proof of stake, where you no longer need the harsh computing power and you simply just do it on your own computer or join a mining pool. But the same thing kind of aligns. So there are people who believe that you should be able to do whatever you want when mining the cryptocurrencies. Other people don't believe that you should be able to have hardware that's 6 times as powerful as the one that already exists, and therefore other smaller miners will be kind of pushed away to the side, and they will be receiving pennies as opposed to what they probably already are receiving right now. This is going to happen for quite some time, and I mean, Ethereum is just kind of all over the place. I think something is going to have to happen very soon, or things will not. I mean, to be fair, we've had, you know, the other price predictions and stuff like that. The price prediction that we had a day or two ago, okay, was it Mike Novogratz? Can't remember exactly who said it. It said 2019, but if you look around, there was a typo on that website, or rather a yearpo, if that's a thing, where it's supposed to be 2018. So he believes that at some point in 2018, Ethereum is still going to go from $230 to $1,900 a coin. I'm not exactly sure what would cause that rally. He said that Ethereum is oversold and therefore the price is going to go back up. But I think at this point, Ethereum needs to tell people that they can do something, even if it's them integrating that Zcash upgrade that they have somewhere around there. Who knows when this is going to happen? But Ethereum's like mining woes and upgrade woes are like they're growing every single day, and there are a lot of people online who are not happy with how everything is being like done and put forward, simply because a lot of people have to like ask the Ethereum team in order to implement something, and then they have to do it, but then that kind of takes away from the decentralization if there is like a core team who you have to ask in order to change something in the code to implement, so that everyone else has to do like has something, you know, it's nicer for them. It's all a bit of a mess if you kind of really think about it. Next up, the National Bank of Ukraine, or NBU, is considering launching a state-owned digital currency based on blockchain. Local news outlet Vesti Ukraine reported on Tuesday, the 25th of September. NBU says that the blockchain-based, not going to try and pronounce that, has to be centralized and remain under government control. Vesti Ukraine writes, the state-backed coin is expected to increase the rate of non-cash payments along with their reduced costs. Ukraine has brought up the digital coin idea several times already within the framework of a project called the cashless economy. For instance, NBU has revealed plans in January to launch a e-coin that would not be based on blockchain technology. According to bank officials, this version of a Ukraine state-backed coin would have to be tied to the national fiat currency at a rate of 1-to-1. According to the NBU, this would prevent the growth of the inflation rate. Okay. However, issuing an e-coin based on blockchain still remains in the planning stage, with the bank noting the decision on the appropriateness of the introduction of the e-coin in full will be taken after a detailed analysis, end quote. This is all happening, like I said before, a lot faster than I thought that it would. We had time frames around the year 2025 that countries would start to come forward announcing that they're going to create their own cryptocurrencies, because the idea still is, for many of the prominent people in the cryptocurrency space, is that not only are governments going to issue their own cryptocurrencies, but eventually they're all going to fall apart. I'm not exactly sure how they plan on pegging it 1-to-1 to their paper money, and this will also prevent the growth of inflation if you can continue printing paper money, and even more so, you can, if it is like hyper centralized and is controlled by the government, they can just add more ones and zeros to create more of their coins. Not exactly the point is, the idea is that these are going to be created, as we've seen right now, and that at some point they're all going to topple over, simply because the crypto that we use, is going to somehow in some way take over. But this is definitely, I don't want to say alarming, but there are a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space, like a lot of the advocates and stuff like that, who are fearful of I mean, it's interesting because the same people who are fearful of this right here happening are the same people who are the prophesizers of like Bitcoin and all these other coins taking over in to replace these digital fiat currencies. But a lot of them fear that this will cause a lot of governments to become a lot more corrupt. Not to say that this government is corrupt, it's just a general idea. They say that the idea of a government being able to create their own digital currency and therefore control it completely, it's something different when you can tell people can go into a store and pay for what they want with their own cash, but the moment you create a digital currency and you can essentially block people's accounts and stuff like that. This is already happening in China. They have a something called like a Sesame code or something like that, or Sesame score. And I watched a documentary on it like a couple of days ago. There was like an updated one, and they were talking to people who already have low scores. So if you say something negative against the government, your score gets lower, and the lower your score goes, the less you can actually do within the country. And they were showing people whose scores were so low, they were trying to buy things online, and because the government knew exactly what they were doing because everything was tied together, they were blocked from buying things online. You couldn't rent an apartment. You couldn't really do anything. Like, you were banned from certain restaurants and stuff like that. So this leads us to this like hyper dystopian world where we have things like this going on. No one knows if it's going to, I can't even say not going to continue. I'm pretty sure other countries are definitely going to try and adopt this as well. It's just a matter of if they fall and when they are going to fall. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, so there's some things happening with Coinbase right now, and I don't have that other, what's it called? The other article in this video, but you may have noticed, and I definitely have noticed, Coinbase is seemingly like very desperate right now. And I thought it was just them trying to push out as many new things as possible to try and like blanket to reach everyone. We keep throwing out things that, more people will definitely come to us. There was an analysis of what's happening with Coinbase's funds, not the actual crypto on their website, but like how much money they're making on a quarterly and yearly basis. And their profits are just slamming down to the ground. It's a mixture of them not adding new coins, which is already a major thing. It's also they're constantly trying to throw out tons of new products and projects and other things that are specifically for like the richest of the rich, but they're forgetting about people not at the bottom. I don't really know how to say where we are, but you get what I'm saying. Those who don't have a 13-figure bank account, I guess that's the easiest way of saying it. And what's happening is that not only are their profits completely a lot lower than they were just even a year ago, but also the profits being made by Binance and Kraken and even Gemini and a bunch of other places has gone up significantly because people seem to be not shying away from Coinbase, but Coinbase just kind of seems desperate. So I'll read through a bit of the things and you'll kind of get it a little bit. US-based crypto exchange Coinbase has teamed up with token-based trading protocol startup Caspian in an effort to boost its offerings aimed at pro traders and financial firms. Under the deal, Coinbase Pro will integrate Caspian full stack of tools to bring additional trading and portfolio management capabilities, according to a Caspian Medium post published on Monday. Kayvon Pirstani, director of institutional sales at Coinbase, said customers will be able to take advantage of the best elements of both platforms, accessing Coinbase's extensive historical market data and deep pool of liquidity, and combined with Caspian's suite of seamless trading tools. More than just a commercial opportunity, the partnership is an opportunity to move forward the institutional adoption of crypto as a mature, tradable asset class. If you have Coinbase as well, and maybe you're using the Coinbase app, you may have noticed about a day or two ago, even maybe a couple days before that, a lot of people have been reporting on social media that the Coinbase app now lists like coins that aren't on Coinbase, if that makes a lot of sense. And they're not even in order. People were saying before that they looked like just like the top 10 or top 20 coins, but they're missing, like it's not in order. They're like gaps in between it. They have XRP, they have EOS, they even have Tether and a bunch of other things on it as well. And a lot of people, this brought up the idea that Coinbase could potentially be adding them, but it seems like a ploy to me. When it comes to like them, we even had the news a couple of days ago about them trying to like rapidly integrate new coins. And if you're a developer, send us your coins and we'll think about adding it. And they seem to be trying to do everything that they can. And I told you guys that this would happen months ago. Their lack of foresight and like movement forward is causing all of this to happen. That's not to say in like a year and a half, they won't be maybe at the top again or can continue to retain their spot. But as of now, Coinbase is like not in quicksand, but they're like desperately trying to like remain relevant. And you can't remain relevant when 8 other exchanges have launched in the United States over 2018. For some reason, when you said that you couldn't add certain coins because they weren't compliant, other exchanges are also adding them and then get confused when the money's kind of flowing out of your pockets. In the same exact thing, this was also announced as well. Cryptocurrency exchange and wallet service Coinbase has rolled out a new update called Coinbase Bundles, which is designed to simplify cryptocurrency trading, according to an announcement published on the 27th of September. Coinbase Bundles is a basket of 5 cryptocurrencies supported on Coinbase and purchased in proportion to their market cap in US dollars. The bundles consist of course, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ethereum Classic. The smallest bundles cost $25, £25, or €25. While Coinbase has not set up a maximum purchase size for a bundle, the exchange limits daily purchases amounts on a per customer basis. Once a customer has bought a bundle, each type of virtual currency will be stored in their Coinbase wallet and can be bought, sold, sent, or received as an individual asset. While this might appear genius, the idea is definitely, wow, that's pretty cool. You can buy 5 cryptos at once. Their lack of extra coins is daunting at this point. And this is just another, I think there were 4 or 5 announcements, and I'm missing a couple of other ones. There were 4 or 5 announcements this week from Coinbase as to new things that they are throwing out there that are going to be for, like, this is, if you read around without me reading even further, and especially for other articles, this is touted as something for like the normal average Joe. Like, if you have no idea what you're doing in crypto, if you have no idea where to put your money, just throw in this much money and we'll separate it between 5 different coins. That's great. That's wonderful. But this is yet another thing that I don't know exactly what it's going to take for Coinbase to kind of get it. But at the moment, this is what they're doing. That, like I said, that's not to say that these won't work out in the future. If you're looking to diversify your portfolio, I guess this is absolutely wonderful. How great it is that you can only buy 5 coins. But yeah, Coinbase, there was, I can't remember where the other article was. It was like a major website, and they were talking about how like Coinbase just seems desperate now because for some reason they're not adding coins, or they can't add coins, or whatever is happening to them. So they're trying to launch as many different products as possible to get people to go back to their website, but no one wants to go to them because those same 5 coins you can get on every other single website. Yeah. Next up, Mongolia is in the news. That is not something you hear about often. Mongolia's largest mobile telecom operator has become the country's first licensed entity to issue its own digital currency. This is according to a report by the official state media outlet Monsame on the 28th of September. Mobicom's financial arm, Mobi Finance, is now cleared to issue the e-currency dubbed Candy to investors. Monsame confirms the executive have received formal permission at a ceremonial event at a Bank of Mongolia's headquarters on Friday, commenting on the achievement, which comes around 5 months after the central bank approved formal digital currency regulation. Mobicom CEO Tatsuya Hamada appeared highly bullish on the phenomenon's future role in the economy. I don't know how. I mean, Candy might become popular. Anyway, so we're seeing now an explosion of companies and banks and institutions who were launching their own coins. There was some, I can't, and I should, it's so ridiculous. I keep scrolling by other articles and stuff like that, and then I skim by them, throw them to the side, and I make a video, and I constantly say, like, I wish I had it in the video. I'm just gonna try and start like throwing everything into the video so that it kind of makes a bit more sense. There was something they were discussing the like the digitization of everything type thing, and we have so many more companies and corporations who are trying to launch their own coins for everything. There's another football team who's trying to launch their own coin. There's like a baseball team or something like that who's trying to have another coin. There's like partnered, like banks, partners, money remittance services, like travel agents are trying to have their own coins. It's just so I understand. There was an article somewhere. It was somewhere on Google. It was called like, do we need blockchain for everything? And it was about, it's great that everyone wants to get into the cryptocurrency space, but we logically have all the coins that we need right now. This is exactly what it is. When you want to talk about not the internet crash, the thing that happened in 2000, like where all the internet stocks completely fell apart, and so and so, the .com bubble. Yeah, there we go. This is the beginning of the crypto bubble. We don't need a cryptocurrency for everything. I understand the logic behind a government wanting to print their own cryptocurrency, but a telecom operator creating their own cryptocurrency, and I'm pretty sure, I think we have at least 2 or 3 years for any type of like hyper bubble to form when everything has been digitized, when every single company is looking to it. This is exactly what happened in 1999, 1998, 1997. Everyone thought you could have a website for everything. There's no need for all of these coins. There's no need for all, if you, there was something I watched a couple of days ago. There's some type of a platform who's trying to make like a virtual reality type game thing, and it looks like the movie Ready Player One. Like they're trying to do the exact same thing, but they created their own coin, and they had another game a couple of months ago, and they also had their own coin, and it's like, these coins aren't going to last forever. These things are going to eventually collapse. Like the idea that they're just not integrating coins that already exist is just completely insane, because everyone is just trying to go through this like massive cash grab in order to create their own coin, hoping that it becomes something, and we're going to have such a huge loss in the market. And I assure you this is going to happen. If you pay attention to the last videos that last year, think of how many companies and organizations and like the people who were making iced tea in the United States, they tried to add blockchain to their name, and they were creating their own coin. The people from Kodak, they tried to, why do you need a Kodak coin? Why do you need a coin to take photos? We've been taking photos for over 100 years now, haven't needed a token before. This is going to get out of control very, very fast. I think we're nearing 2,000 coins on CoinMarketCap already. And I'm going to assume, let's say by 2022, 2023, we're going to have at least 10,000 different cryptocurrencies. And then we're going to have a huge, not even correction in the market. Someone's going to take a pen. They're going to pop everything because all these things are needed. And I mean, it'll be great if you already hold one of the major coins, because all that money is going to flow into the front of the market. But the point, it's getting out of control right now. And I don't even know if I have something else like this in the rest of the video, but it's just completely like, what in the world is happening right now? Everyone's trying to get into the blockchain and just creating their own coins. So if you are surprised by this, then you have not been living on Earth. If you've ever wondered whether Uncle Sam is spying on your cryptocurrency transactions, a new report reveals that if you reside or do business in the United States, the answer is probably yes. Citing public records, research firm DR reported that U.S. government agencies have collectively spent $5.7 million hiring contractors who perform blockchain analysis, which involve linking an individual's identity with their cryptocurrency funds. Though there are tools and even individual cryptocurrencies that purport to allow users to send funds anonymously, the vast majority of cryptocurrency users leave enough of a trail that, equipped with the right tools, investigators can determine to whom a particular wallet belongs. Once a cryptocurrency user exposes their pseudo-anonymous cryptocurrency address to a service or individual who can identify it as belonging to their real-world identity, they run the risk of having their entire wallet and any other of their wallets which the wallet has transacted exposed as belonging to them. Once a blockchain forensics expert takes the time to aggregate the data. Sorry. Whoa. Frequently, these privacy lapses occur when a user deposits or withdraws funds at a cryptocurrency exchange. Sorry, 1 second. Not doing too well. And it's so funny because I told myself that I should have had at least a sip of water before I started making the video. I never listened to myself. Frequently, these privacy lapses occur when a user deposits or withdraws funds at a cryptocurrency exchange that requires users to undergo identity verification, though they may also be the result of posting their cryptocurrency address online under their real name or an identifiable pseudonym, or even transacting with someone else who has been unmasked. Unsurprisingly, the top spender among U.S. government agencies is the IRS, which is responsible for collecting federal income data. The IRS has signed 9 contracts with cryptocurrency forensic providers, together worth just under $2.2 million and representing 38% of the government's, 38% of the government's total spending on these services. A lot of people have been wondering for quite some time, I'll put it this way. If you grew up in the States, you knew that this was already happening. There is I tried to explain to, for those who don't know, I live in Europe. I have been here for a very long time now, and I try to explain to my friends in Europe what it was like growing up in the U.S. People in the U.S. already have the mentality that we're already being spied on, and I feel like this is an article for people who aren't in the U.S. I mean, we know what the government's doing. The point is, the issue comes down to, like I said in other videos, we're entering a world where if crypto ends up taking off, if Bitcoin ends up taking off, if privacy features are actually implemented on top of Bitcoin, and we no longer, or rather, one is not then obligated to report their earnings as all their transactions are then private. This is a huge issue for the people who collect taxes, and I think that they know it. At this point, I think that Bitcoin has already crossed the threshold of like the no turning back point. Like you can stomp on it, you can hate it, you can do whatever you want, you can even try and control the price. But the idea is there. I think a couple thousand like Bitcoin wallets are downloaded every single day from new people trying to get into the space, who are getting into the space, who are buying fragments of it, doing whatever, whatever the case actually might be. This is going to continue, and I'm expecting some type of a backlash in a year or two when it comes down to all of this. There was something at the beginning of the year. I don't know if you guys saw. I don't even think I covered it. This was like before I was doing like the news I missed videos. And there was a thing that in 2016, the article was from 2017, and they were talking about how people didn't report their crypto earnings or taxes or income in 2016, or rather, if they had cashed out, no one was reporting it. And in 2018, there was a report that in 2017, I think like less than, it was like 0.01% of people who were into crypto announced any earnings that they had made, or if they, if they had cashed out and had, made fiat currency back, that they hadn't like reported on it. U.S. government was not too happy. So this is why, this is kind of all happening. But it's only going to continue. And that's not me saying that in like not a malicious way or like a brooding, undertone. It's more like people already leaving the U.S. Other countries aren't as strict, at least at the moment that we know about. And I don't know. yeah, I guess that's really all that I'm gonna really say on it. But if you were wondering before, it is definitely happening. So don't be fooled by anything. Next up, a new report from the Bank of International Settlements, or the BIS, contends that Bitcoin markets are swayed by news events related to regulation. You don't say. While cryptocurrencies are often thought to operate out of the reach of national regulation, in fact, their valuations, transaction volumes, and user bases react substantially to news about regulatory actions, argues this report, which was drafted by Raphael Auer and Stijan Kailizens and was reported on the 23rd of September. The full report adds to the growing body of research conducted by the BIS, considered by some to be the central bank on the subject of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Among the examples cited by the BIS, the news from March 2017 that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, had shot down a proposal from investors Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss to create what would have been the first Bitcoin ETF traded fund. And they said in the 5 minutes around the announcement, the price of Bitcoin dropped by 16%. Auer and Kalensis note another event is the Japanese Financial Services Agency, or the FSA, ordering 6 cryptocurrency exchanges to improve their money laundering procedures on June 2018. Again, prices tanked, although it seems to have taken several hours until the start of the U.S. trading day for this measure to have its full effect. So this once again ties into, what is he looking at? There's nothing here. This ties into the idea people were wondering for quite some time, and people refuted this evidence for so long, and I don't know why it's so. Not everything is like a conspiracy theory or someone trying to show you up or do, it's clearly obvious that our markets are weak. They've been weakened on purpose. And what we have right now is that there's so much fear in the market because of the future. And I mean this in the most honest way. This has happened before. I think a lot of this fear is coming from a lot of people who are new to cryptocurrencies. A lot of people don't understand what's happened in the past, who this actually threatens, who doesn't really care for it. Like when we had the orchestrated or conducted news at the beginning of the year, when all the governments were talking about banning it, none of them banned it. And now we have all this news. This is all happening on purpose. We know that they're moving the markets on purpose, that they're giving the news on certain days and stuff like that. They know, and it's really funny that I think that it's interesting that the same exact people who are talking about that crypto is manipulated and there are other people manipulating the price of cryptocurrencies, they know that when they say something, whether it be good or bad, the prices will move accordingly depending on what they say, which ends up being the manipulation that they're talking about being inside of the entire market. Like, there aren't big enough voices. Like, you may have someone like Charlie Lee talking about, I'm going to only mine Litecoin. Litecoin's price would go up, but it wouldn't move the entirety of the market. When these organizations and these companies who are constantly, they're the people against corruption and stuff like that. Like, we're here to protect the investors, but at the same exact time, they know that what they say also moves the market. And I'm pretty sure in some way they also like this power that they have when it comes to all of this. But if you are wondering, if you had any doubts, since the beginning of this year and even the end of 2017, the market has been hyper manipulated, and it's just been by governments and government agencies and tons of other people. There was even a point when Jamie Dimon would say something negative about Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin would slip like 4 or 5%. These people know exactly what they're doing. Will they be charged with corruption or manipulation? Probably not. But it's definitely happening. And the only way that we can get out of this situation is more adoption. The more that crypto is adopted around the world, no one will really care if Jamie Dimon says something about Bitcoin in Thailand or Japan or Moscow. No one cares. So we need to continue the crypto push forward, and this is the only way that we'll be able to get out of this ridiculousness. Next up, okay, this one's actually a little insane, and I'll try and give a backdrop on this. This one starts out saying shock is perhaps the word that best describes the mood ever since one of Bitcoin's most severe bugs was discovered and patched last week. As the community reels over the vulnerability that was hiding in the code for over 2 years, and that could have exploited to print more Bitcoins than the 21 million that is hard-coded to ever be produced, Developers are wondering, is there a way to prevent such a severe bug from being added to the code again? Days after the discovery, there haven't been any formal proposals, but that's not to say the event hasn't promoted discussion about how Bitcoin works and how similar bugs in the cryptocurrency's most popular software implementation, Bitcoin Core, could be identified and resolved in the future. It is an important question too. What if a malicious actor had found the exploit first? What if there are other hidden bugs in the code right now without reading? So what happened was that they said that they found a bug. The same exact bug was found in Litecoin, as Litecoin was more or less forked in some way from the Bitcoin code. And they said that the thing that they found wasn't as horrible as people are making out to seem. There were a couple of other things, but one of the main things was that it would have allowed more than 21 million coins to be printed. When that happens, or if that did happen, this would have destroyed the entire idea of Bitcoin and would have caused the rest of the world to question the entire cryptocurrency space. This has happened multiple times over Bitcoins. Bitcoin is one of, me and Bitcoin don't have like the greatest relationship. We don't hang out on weekends, but for what it's worth, I understand that Bitcoin is number one because of its name and because of what it is and how far it's come along. But this has happened many times. The people who are controlling Bitcoin Core, and yes, it is controlled. These are the same people who won't scale Bitcoin on purpose, even though that we know that Bitcoin can actually scale at least up to where Bitcoin Cash is. It's all inside of the code, but they're instead developing things like Liquid and the Lightning Network instead. The problem is that many codes like this have been found over the last couple of years. They've obviously been, found and treated or changed or like whatever has to be done in order to make them kind of go away. The problem is like if more of these are actually in the code, or if other people can then continue to write them back into the code. Bitcoin is not perfect, and this is part of the problem. There are a lot of people who are trying to destroy not only the Bitcoin blockchain, but also the cryptocurrency space as well. So the people behind this, or the people who do Bitcoin Core, they said that it's not as bad as it seems. A lot of other people who are in the cryptocurrency space tend to beg to differ, if you will. And the issue is that when something catastrophic or seemingly catastrophic could happen to your coin, the people behind it try to, push it down and say, it's not that bad. It's not as horrible as it could have been. But where does this lead us? And don't even say that something like this can't happen to Bitcoin, or that I'm spreading FUD, or that why would I even talk about something like this? Bitcoin is great. Bitcoin is perfect. We know that it's not. If you've read of the history of Bitcoin, and even like when the person who's supposed to be Satoshi gave the code to other people to continue to like implement and stuff like that, there were so many malicious things inside of the code already that he just hadn't worked out, as he's not perfect, because no one is perfect. But this has been happening for quite some time, and it makes me wonder what else is lying inside of the code. Could someone exploit it? Because we already know, one, that Bitcoin is already 51% controlled. You can say no all you want. You can Google it. The information is there, and not just on like 3 different websites. It's all over the internet. We know this is happening by now. I am wondering how this is all going to play out for Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure that without a doubt there are at least 1,300 people around the world who are scrutinizing the code and making sure that everything is like in tip-top shape, but you can't always catch everything, and as things can be added to the code at any time depending on who you are. It's just kind of something to think about. Bitcoin is, I don't want something bad to happen to Bitcoin simply because it'll ruin the idea of cryptocurrencies. It'll be exactly what governments want, to be able to not have to continue with crypto. Like, imagine if someone was able to print, an extra 1 coin. Like, if there was ever going to be like 21 million in 1 coin, that would destroy the entire idea of what crypto is. And then, whatever, I'm just going to move on from here. It's pretty serious, but people aren't talking about this, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it because sometimes they think if you push it to the back or push it to the side, then no one will really pay attention to it, or it's not that big a deal. But this is definitely something that has to be worked on. Next up, Jed McCaleb is in the news. The co-founder of two of the 6 most valuable cryptocurrency tokens is capitalizing on a September rally to ramp up speed at which he cashes out of the assets XRP. Jed McCaleb, instrumental in the launch of both Ripple and Stellar, as well as the cryptocurrencies associated with them, has in recent weeks increased the rate at which he is selling his remaining XRP tokens, which are meted out to him on a daily basis. McCaleb increasing selling activity was first reported. Okay, I'm not gonna even. It's not even that important. What happened was Jed McCaleb created Ripple. He created Stellar. He left Ripple. He said that they. He said that they had done that the direction that the company was going wasn't to his likings, and therefore he created Stellar. Part of the problem is that when he created Stellar, Stellar is the exact same thing as Ripple slash XRP, but Ripple does it better. And there was a lawsuit where he was supposed to be given a certain amount of XRP for a very low value. During the course of around 2 or 3 year period, he tried to get the XRP. He apparently had broken something in a contract that he had written with the Ripple team. He said that he didn't break anything. A couple of weeks ago, we had news that, what's it called? They signed an agreement. They came to a way to not solidify things, so you know, they patch things over. He gets his XRP, but apparently he gets it like it's very coordinated exactly how he gets it. Part of the problem is that he has increased his selling off of XRP, which is also against the rules of another contract that they signed. He says that he's doing everything according to the books. Somewhere around here. Yeah. According to the Wall Street Journal, his sales dramatically spiked in late August from less than 40,000 XRP per day to as much as 752,000 XRP that he's selling per day. He says that he is not doing anything wrong. He said I'm not selling any more than they're actually giving me. The point is, interesting to note, you may have noticed a couple of days ago, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, no, week and a half by now, the price of XRP has continued to go up. And people are kind of perplexed at this because they're saying they don't understand why the price of XRP is going up while McCaleb is selling off his XRP. Because if you noticed a couple of months ago when we had a situation, even it's kind of happening right now, where people who had ICOs built on top of Ethereum were, so like EOS, TRON, all these other things, whatever, they had built their coins on top of Ethereum. They had listed their ICOs and you had to pay for them in Ethereum. And now they're selling off their Ethereum. And this is why we have such a lower price of Ethereum, the token. And people expected the exact same thing to happen with this. For some reason, it's not. And I'm going to, my honest opinion, and first of all, it's really, I understand wanting to make money, but I think, I'm trying to figure out like the nicest way to say this. We realized years later that we did something incorrectly. Not only is he, and I'm certain, if he's not selling off his XRP for Bitcoin, he's definitely selling it off trying to push up the price of Stellar, which you may have noticed was also pushed up a couple of days ago, which is kind of weird, right? Because no one was talking about Stellar, so why was the price being pushed back up? What he's doing right now is, I hope he accelerates his sale. I hope he dumps every single one of his XRP. I hope that at the end of it, he has none left. It says somewhere around here exactly how many that he has. Him and his children own around 7.3 billion XRP. He's not supposed to, he's supposed to have a slow drip as far as him selling them. One of the greatest things in the entire world is going to be, and I'm not sure, maybe he just isn't good at math. I don't know exactly what the idea is. If you see that XRP is floating around 50 something cents, and you know that XRP was around 360 before, why wouldn't you then sell off your XRP when the price has gone up, especially if he's selling so many XRP per day? When he sells off all his XRP, I feel like throwing a mini party or something like that, because the moment XRP hits $10 or $15, it's gonna, the harsh reality is that he sold everything for around 50 cents. It's kind of ridiculous that it even came to this. And I was looking through things online, and it's so weird that everyone is like connected in this space, and they have such a bone to pick with XRP, and everything that they've done just really hasn't worked. And it's so sad. The people who were, what's it called? The people who used to work on Bitcoin Core left them to make the Ripple team. The people who were working for Ripple then left to work on Stellar. The people who were working on Ripple and Stellar at some point left to start working on Ethereum. The people who left Ethereum said that they didn't like Ethereum. They started making EOS. The people who made EOS, some of them have also, it's just, It's just a really weird game. The last couple of days, apparently he has been ramping up his sell-off of XRP. I hope that he continues. I would I wish him the best of luck, and I hope that he sells them off quicker than he hopes to. Because it's such weird timing. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Jed McCaleb, like many other people in the cryptocurrency space, they're almost like kids. And like, have you heard the phrase, like, if you could be like you could be a fly on the wall? I want to know what happened to all of these people. At some point, I'm assuming a large part of it has to do with greed. At some point, they all were friends. They're not friends because, and the same argument has always been, I didn't like the direction of the project. Well, that's funny. You created the exact same project, and that project now isn't working as well as the first project that you were on. And now you're trying to do everything to push down their price, and lo and behold, XRP keeps going up in value. Not going to spend too much time on this, but good job, Jed McCaleb, and I hope everything works out for you. Especially, I'm pretty sure he's going to eventually leave Stellar and try and create another coin. I'm almost certain. I give it 2 years. Here goes another one. 4 early employees and 2 contractors have resigned from the Hong Kong cryptocurrency company called Block One to start up Strong Block, a new blockchain project that is currently under wraps. David Moss, Thomas Cox, Brian Abramson, and Corey Lederler, the employees were the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th to be hired by Block One, the corporate parent that created the decentralized operating system and application environment called EOS. EOS, a computational protocol that competes with the technology behind the Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain, supplies a native cryptocurrency of the same name and has a market cap valued at around $5 billion today. At Block One, the 4 employees took an overwhelmingly technical role. Moss had been the senior vice president. I don't care what the rest of them did. The executives joined last year with Moss and Cox in August, and Abraham and Lederler in September, but software developers John Cook and Michael Mason, the contractors, began working on EOS in the spring. According to the LinkedIn profiles, that really important. Point is, this was news at the beginning of the week or sometime in the middle of the week, and a lot of people were asking me in the comment section, why wasn't I talking about it? Was I trying to protect EOS? I always say do your own research for a reason. They didn't leave EOS. They left the company that created EOS, and they left it so they can try and start their own thing. What is it called? Strong Block, a new blockchain product that is probably, I'm almost certain, going to have their own coin. This is exactly what I was talking about over here. There's so many cash grabs, and so many people are desperate. Like what happens is that when you join a crypto company, and I don't know if you guys have seen like the documentaries from about a year or 2 ago when they were talking about ICOs and stuff like that, and everyone's very buddy. Everyone like joins together and hold hands, and they try to make these projects as cool and as great as possible. And then what ends up happening is at some point when they get big enough and everyone's pockets are full, they leave and they go, I don't believe in this project anymore. I am definitely gone. I'm definitely leaving. And they go, I believe in decentralization and I'm going to create my own project. And they create their own project, and it doesn't end up doing that well, and they end up leaving that, and it happens over and over and over and over and over again. So these people did not leave EOS. This isn't detrimental to EOS because it has nothing to do with EOS. It's the people who, it's Block One. These people left it, and they're trying to start their own other crypto enterprise, whatever the thing that they're trying to build. This is about the 13th time that this has happened. There's so many other projects who have created their own coins, and they have either fallen flat because they tried to launch them during the last bull market that we had, or what was the other thing? Like a couple of months ago, we had one of the Bitcoin Core people who said that he didn't like the direction that Bitcoin was going, so he decided to create his own coin. Lo and behold, the coin that he created, I think there were like 2 million of them each or something like that, and each coin was like $800 for no apparent reason. It had no reason to even be that expensive. Haven't heard a word from them. It's been about 4, 5, 6 months, not a single peep, and the thing launched. Like, it's there, it's out in the world somewhere. That launched, no one's talking about it. So many, it's so greed is a very powerful thing, and it's sometimes a very comical thing that you can have. Like, if you're part of the Bitcoin project, stay with the Bitcoin project. Everyone is so interested in making their own coins and trying to make billions on the side and be the first company that's the first $1 trillion crypto company. Just stay with the project. If you desperately believe in decentralization, make sure that Bitcoin is hyper decentralized. If you believe in the future of payments and stuff like that, stay with the Ripple team. Don't leave. All these people are leaving, and this is another thing that's going to contribute to the bubble that we're having, because we don't need all of these coins. Whether you don't think so or not, we don't need 2,000 cryptocurrencies. We don't need other coins being created. And I love when they create a new coin. I think the best part for me is when they create a new coin and their coin has about like 12 million coins circulating, and it's like, well, that's weird. You wanted it to be for everyone in the world, right? That's, wouldn't you just make, logically at least one coin for everyone in the world? Nope, you don't do that. You make less and less. Point is, I'm rambling and ranting because I'm the crypto market and the cryptocurrency space is just about money now. The entire idea that anything or a large part of it has to do with decentralization or helping your fellow man or helping this, and it's just about greed now. Everyone keeps leaving. The people from what was it? Was it EOS or Ethereum? They left to make Cardano. Like every single coin, if you look at their websites and look at the people who are in it and go to their LinkedIn, you can see that all these people know each other, and at some point they all decided that they don't like each other. I want to make more money in my own project, and I'm glad, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, I'm glad that so many of these projects launched last December and January when they thought that the market was going to continue to go up, and they floundered because these were all cash grabs. I am so happy that all of those other projects floundered because we don't need them. Like if anything, like the top 30, 40, 50 coins is all that we need inside the market. But anyway, I'm going to move on from here. Next up, more than 50 stakeholders from the cryptocurrency and finance industries this week met with U.S. lawmakers in Washington to discuss the future of blockchain regulation in the country. The roundtable, which took place at Capitol Hill at the behest of Representative, Warren Davidson, saw attendance from the representatives of industry heavyweights, including Coinbase, Kraken, NASDAQ, Horowitz, State Street, Consensus, Fidelity, and U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The message from most visitors who was loud and clear: lawmakers should intervene to bring more clarity to crypto regulations, or blockchain innovations will be forced to leave the country. According to CNBC's summary of the summit, the panelists criticized the SEC, or the Securities and Exchange Commission, for defining a new asset class like cryptocurrencies after taking cues from the outcome of a 72-year-old case. The 1946 Supreme Court case SEC versus Howey Co. held that the offer of a land sale and services would qualify as investment contracts. The SEC applies the same Howey test to cryptocurrencies distributed and ICOs, marking many of them as securities in the eye of the law. As a result, young startups in the U.S. waiting to launch blockchain assets stand confused about their compliance status. Many of them desire to issue utility tokens, cryptocurrencies that would be used to purchase or sell assets within a centralized or decentralized platform. They do not possess an Internet of Things. I think that A is wrong there. An Internet of Things of usability a security token should possess, industry representative said. The visiting group questioned whether they should be brought under the U.S. securities framework at all. If you remember, about 3 months ago, I said there's a weight that's going to start to get heavier, and I'm glad that it's gotten to this point. We spoke a tiny bit about this meeting during the week, where we know that it happened, but I guess as time has gone on, we're learning a bit more. We didn't hear what the actual people were saying during this meeting, or the actual words that they were saying. I said many times, I don't know what the U.S. is doing. I don't understand what they think their game is at this point. So many other people have left the United States completely, whether they be investors or even people who are trying to get into the cryptocurrency space. Like the cryptocurrency space in Europe is thriving. It's actually insane how hot it is right now in Europe because of cryptocurrencies. And in the States, it's like just people in Silicon Valley and maybe in New York and maybe in like Utah who are like trying to build things. No exact idea what's going on. Cryptocurrencies, something that was made in 2009, should not be under the same exact law that came out 72 years ago that had to do with someone selling. I think the entire argument for the SEC versus Howey had to do with someone selling like grapes or fruits or something like that on their land, and therefore their land was a security as people were like in expectation of a profit from it. It's something stupid like that. The fact that you think that you can link cryptocurrencies and ICOs with a land case is absolutely insane. So many other countries have already come forward telling us exactly what they're going to do with cryptocurrencies, and it has nothing to do with the land case. Even if their SEC is overlooking it or their CFTC, a lot of cryptocurrencies in other countries have been called commodities already. Like, these are not securities. These old organizations that were made 90 years ago should not have a say. Like, there needs to be an entirely new something that looks over the cryptocurrency space, and it should not be the SEC. What is going to happen is, if we do not get any type of regulatory clarity by the end of this year, I think the US is done. We're still going to have, companies opening. There's still going to be the Coinbase. We're still going to have a couple of other things that are going to be launching and happening. And we're, but the idea that the US is going to be the head of blockchain anymore is completely done. They have a couple more months. I don't know exactly when this is going to happen. As of now, we had people talking about before that the SEC is not going to give us any type of clarity until like February or March of next year, around the same exact time when they finally give us their idea on the CBOE Bitcoin ETF, I think it is. Yeah. Point is, I'm glad that there are people within the states who are, can you imagine how annoyed, like, all these people know each other. A lot of these people don't like each other. Do you understand what you actually need to get these people in the same exact room together to talk to politicians in the states and tell them to get it together? Like, do you understand how much that takes for these organizations and companies to sit with US lawmakers and say, what's the problem? Why are you taking so long? I thought I was I've I almost said ramparted. That's not what I wanted to say. I've spoken about this so many times on the channel because it's so frustrating, and I'm glad that I'm not the only one, but I have a strong inkling none of this is going to be resolved anytime soon. And it kind of is what it is. If you take your time doing stuff and you don't give the laws that should be given, then you get what happens. Get what's, I don't know. I don't know how to end that sentence. I'm just going to move on. Next up, without reading too much into this, if you may have noticed, Bitcoin's, it says price volatility hits the lowest level in nearly 2 years. Bitcoin has been on this steady glide sideways. It may have a shoot up, and if you look at the charts, it still continues sideways. A lot of people believe that we are entering a point where, that like the entire like triangle, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. It's still early here, forgive me. Where Bitcoin consolidates to a certain point and then either shoots up dramatically or completely crashes back down. People are saying that we're entering that point. But this has been happening for quite some time now, and this is why a lot of people have been saying that Bitcoin's price has hit a bottom. And we've been hearing this for about 3 months now. A lot of people talking about, oh, I expect a rally in about a week or two. I expect a rally and so and so, and there's been no rally. The volatile price that a lot of traders have gotten into cryptocurrency for. A lot of people have gotten into Bitcoin because they say that they love the volatility. They love the prices going up by 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10% in one day because it's very easy to trade against. And you can essentially make, if you do 6 successful trades back and forth, you've made 30% of what you made before. But those days are seemingly over. I mean, that's not to say that Bitcoin's price will be stable forever, but as of now, we are entering the point where Bitcoin has to prove itself. And it's a little shaky because there's been good news about Bitcoin, but we're also to the point where it kind of just has to do something because a lot of the rest of the market is waiting, but certain coins will not be waiting forever, as some type of a decoupling is expected to happen for many coins even within the next like 2 months. Let's see if this ends up happening, especially if we end up getting an Ethereum price of 1,900 by the end of this year. Some type of a decoupling definitely has to then happen. Last up for today, following its acquisition by blockchain startup TRON, peer-to-peer file sharing service BitTorrent will begin incentivizing users by paying them with its cryptocurrency tokens. TRON announced on Thursday that its forthcoming Project Atlas would connect BitTorrent and TRON, hoping to make the BitTorrent platform or protocol faster for peers, as well as encourage both new and existing users to run the file sharing protocol for longer periods of time. BitTorrent seeders, or users storing and sharing files being downloaded, will earn TRON's TRX token for remaining online for longer periods of time, as well as for dedicating more of their bandwidth and storage to ensure that swarms are faster and live longer. Moreover, users downloading content can pay seeders with tokens as part of this incentive program, the company's website added. TRON founder and CEO Justin Sun said the move is the foundation for a new way of content distribution. He said, to start, the product will feature faster downloads, more seeds, no mining, and backward compatibility. It is adapted to the world we live in today, mobile, connected, and transparent. We aim to eventually empower all content creators and their communities by eliminating the middleman and enabling content creators to distribute directly to users. The press release emphasized that because the TRON protocol uses DPoS, delegated proof of stake, as its consensus mechanism, users will not be mining the token on the machines. Instead, token rewards will be based on resources provided. So we finally know what TRON is planning for BitTorrent, why they bought BitTorrent. There's also something I think you can pay to have like quicker downloads, which is kind of weird because if I'm not mistaken, forgive me if I am incorrect in saying so, I thought or was under the assumption that BitTorrent or torrents in general were not of the legal persuasion. And I wonder exactly how big this is going to get. This is a nice incentive if you are using a platform as such and you are trying to, if you can make an extra buck on the side, that's absolutely wonderful. But I wonder exactly how big this is going to be, simply because there are other platforms that are as big as BitTorrent or as large as BitTorrent or have the same amount of weight behind them, kind of a little bit. I guess they're going somewhere with this. Let's see. I can definitely see if this becomes a very big thing, especially because the price of each TRON token is not enormous. I could definitely see the volume of this definitely picking up at some point. I don't know when this is going to be implemented. I have a feeling it might have already been implemented or started. I'm pretty sure you have to sign up somewhere on their website or platform to kind of get this going. But this could potentially be big for TRON, I have to say. I don't know exactly how big. I don't know if other people... I'm still under the assumption that for a lot of things, people are just going to continue, or rather eventually create their own coins. I'm definitely sure that there's going to be a Facebook coin, an Instagram coin, and probably like a Snapchat coin, just because that's how companies work. But as of now, they seem to maybe have cornered the market, and it's nice to, I guess, finally know what they were going to do with BitTorrent. This was like it's like a secret for like 3.5 months, and now we finally know. But let's see if that actually does something to the value of TRON. One would assume that many people would then keep their things online so that they can continue seeding to other people and maybe even earn a pretty penny from having their stuff online and earning TRON. All right, everyone. That is definitely going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I'm a little tired. Sorry if I sound a bit fatigued as I was doing this video. I actually enjoyed talking a bit slower. Someone wrote in the comment section a day or two ago that I sound like one of those auctioneers. I'm not even joking. Sometimes when I talk, I completely blank out. And then I listen to myself like as I was talking back, and I'm like, I don't remember saying that. I think I get so passionate about crypto and so many things like really annoy me in the space. But just who I am. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you once again for watching and or listening. I do appreciate all your support. Hope you have a morning. Hope you all have a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you once again for watching and or listening, and I'll talk to you all soon. See you.